You're listening to Seattle Real Estate Podcast.
Well, we've got a good one here. This is a good one. You guys are going to like this one. Seattle Antifa member who touted business owners' hit list works as a children's camp counselor and substitute school teacher. What do you think about that? Let's jump on in here. This is from Fox News, and I am not going to name the individual, but they tweet under the pseudonym Comrade Flute, which has since been taken off of the Twitter. Imagine that, right? Article in Fox News. A Seattle-area Antifa member who has been arrested multiple times during violent protests and tweeted out a list of businesses that supported the city's efforts to clean out a homeless encampment, CHOP, Cal Anderson Park at CHOP. They've been identified as a children's camp counselor and substitute teacher. On December 16th, this person tweeted a list with the names of businesses and a resident that signed a petition in support of sweeping Cal Anderson Park, reported the Post Millennial, an online publication that frequently reports on Antifa and other left-wing groups. The park was the previous site of the Capitol Hill organized protest, or CHOP, over the summer. All right, and now I am looking at a photo of this young man, and let's say if he went to prison, it would not be a good experience. Why is it that all of Antifa, they're all so small and skinny, they don't eat, and yet the right wing, the far right wing, they're all just big, burly, just kind of drink some beer, raise the flag, do their thing. Yet the far left is just so skinny and all black. They don't eat. I don't know what it is. It's just kind of crazy. But this kid is a small kid. And he is identified as a trans, non-binary furry and a children's camp counselor who's been arrested multiple times at violent protests. So ask yourself, is that who you want teaching your children? My children are old, probably older than this. Both my kids are probably older than this individual. But is that who you want teaching your children? I don't. Maybe you do. I don't think you do either. That's not why you tune in to the Seattle Real Estate Podcast. These are businesses and literally one single resident that signed a petition to sweep Cal Anderson Park. No further comment. That's what this guy sent out. He tweeted under the pseudonym Comrade Flutie, along with a screenshot of a list. So he's literally doxing businesses that are like, yeah, we need a sweep of the park because people are not wanting to come into our businesses, or employees don't want to come into our businesses because this has gotten hairy. We support a sweep. And this kid is basically sending out a tweet with information saying, oh, look at these businesses. This isn't good. They shouldn't be doing this. This is just the stuff that's going on in Seattle right now. It's just nonstop. In a follow-up post, another Antifa activist posted the addresses associated with the business owners. Oh, that's great. If we do stop this sweep, that's a victory, and we can carry that energy to the next action. What's your next action? What's that energy? What are you doing? What's your end goal? Is it to get rid of all police? Is that what it is? Is it to get rid of all leadership? Just every man for himself? Kind of feels like that. In addition to tweeting about protests, this young man, non-binary, this person posted about working with children. I work full-time as a child care worker, and I'm a substitute teacher. I don't know what makes you think I'd be unemployed, he wrote, or they wrote, in response to another Twitter user. In a subsequent post, this person said, I'm a history teacher. I'm from the Olympic Peninsula before moving to Seattle for school and work. The Twitter account has since been deleted. Imagine that. There are so many kids, I think, out there right now that are LARPing. That's what they did this summer. They went to CHOP, they went to Chaz, and they are live action role-playing, not realizing that the decisions that they made this summer, arrest records, most of them, they're not going to go anywhere. But you get arrested for some of this stuff, that's going to follow you around forever. Anytime anybody does a Google search on this individual, going to come up with this name and go, oh, and you're wanting to teach kids? Gonna have to think about that. We're gonna have to rethink. We're gonna have to reimagine your position here within our education system. That's what I think would happen. Maybe there's people, maybe over in Seattle, it's okay. You can just hire people willy-nilly and, they'll teach just kind of whatever. But in my world, this isn't the kind of person I want teaching my kids. It's just not. It's simply just not. So we're talking about CHOP here now. After several fatal shootings and other crimes in the CHOP, in the so-called autonomous zone, the city dismantled the area. Activities and homeless people, that should say activists. Activists and homeless people soon erected tents and began living in the park, much to the ire of nearby business owners and residents. In response to the city's intent to dismantle the encampment, activists barricaded the park and a lawsuit was filed. Last week, a federal judge denied a motion to stop the city, and the encampment was dismantled. Got a video on YouTube that kind of shows what that looks like when they were probably, half done with getting rid of the encampment. Had just all kinds of garbage in there, lots of tents. People can get their tents back. The homeless can get their stuff back. There's a system for all that. But the protesters basically put up metal cyclone fencing. They put up lots of pallets. They made those into like mini walls. They're kind of trying to hold their fort, if you will. That's what they were doing. The fort didn't last long. Police just kind of swept in. Okay, we're taking over. We're doing our thing. And so once again, Cal Anderson Park has been taken over. And then a few days after that, Antifa, again, they were having a little soccer game, little soccer game going, and the police told them to get out. Somebody spit on a cop, got arrested, did some fake injuries. Did a podcast on that. You guys can look at that. Maybe you've already seen it. Maybe you already know. Maybe you already know this is old news. But this is literally what's going on in Seattle. So if you think things are crazy, this is what's happening. This is what's happening on the daily. Just these nutty news stories that you're like, well, that explains a lot. All right. And so the Post Millennial reported that this individual has a long history of protest activity in Seattle. This person participated in the CHOP protests and expressed support for violent behavior, the publication said. In one tweet, this person said, I'm a revolutionary anarchist. I'm not a war hawk, but I see open warfare against fascists and the state as a necessary evil to achieve liberation. All right, imagine your kid, little Johnny or little Susie, is in school and they've got a substitute teacher. And he says, I'm not a war hawk, but I see open warfare against fascists and the state as a necessary evil to achieve liberation. As a parent, what would you say to that? What would be your response? I know mine would be, what? Excuse me? What are you talking about? It's not what we teach our kids. Some people do. That's kind of not where I'm at, though. Crazy times, right? All right. This person also has several arrests related to protests over the summer. As chair of the Washington Progressive Party, this person criticized law enforcement in a June message. The police exist and have always existed for one purpose: to uphold the current social order by inflicting violence on American citizens. Now, that's a unique viewpoint on what the police do. I don't agree with it, but this person is entitled to their opinion. And unfortunately, I can't see eye to eye with that one. The police exist and have always existed for one purpose: to uphold the current social order by inflicting violence on American citizens. And yet, when this person really gets in a tough spot, guess what they're going to do on their cell phone? Yep, that's right. 911, send me a cop. I might get hurt. I might be in trouble. Oh. Nutty times, right? And this guy wrote in response to the death of George Floyd, this is what the police did when they were slave catchers. This is what the police did when they turned fire hoses on civil rights protesters. This is what the police are doing now when they target us, beat us, and shoot us with rubber bullets. No, that is not true. You guys basically ask for it on the daily when you're out protesting, and the protests, they take just a little violent turn. There's always something. There's always something going on. These are not peaceful protests. Everybody knows that. Everybody knows that. It's just not the case. So to spin that, you can no longer spin that. That's not what we saw. That's not what happened. That's not what went down. Everybody knows it. And so now this individual, and I talk to my kids about this too, the decisions you make as a young person will follow you the rest of your life. Unless this person changes their name, which I probably would consider doing that, you are not going to have much in the way of luck of finding employment as a school substitute teacher. I don't think. Am I just crazy here? Or does the school board sit down and go, well, I mean, he's only been arrested a handful of times, nothing major. And he does lean a little bit radical left, a little far left, but you know what? He seems like a good kid, or they seem like a good kid. Should we hire him? No, I don't think you're going to see that, because I think there's enough parents out there that are reasonable, that are like, yeah, not so much. I don't really want that individual around my kids. That's not the influence that we're teaching at home. That's what I'm hoping parents are saying. I don't know. My kids are 28 and 25, so they're a little beyond the elementary school where they're sitting in front of somebody and somebody's like filling up their mind, just giving them all that information. The whole revolutionary thing, shoot us with rubber bullets. I mean, can't you see that just coming into a narrative to a little kid? And the little kid's like, okay, police are bad. Oh, little Johnny or little Susie goes home and tells mom and dad. Mom and dad are like, what? What are you talking about? I don't know. Maybe other families are different than me. I told my kids to respect the police. That's kind of what keeps us from anarchy or the cops. That's what I taught my kids. You know, neither one of them done any time. So I think, I'm 2 for 2, doing okay. I mean, yeah, wild times, right? So decisions you make as a young person might follow you the rest of your life. And in this case, I'm going to say this kid's got a kind of a tough road ahead. But you know what? This is Seattle, and we're pretty okay with just about anything. We're all right with alternative and rethinking and reimagining. This kid'd probably be all right. Whatever. But I thought it was an interesting story, and it's like, okay, that's pretty interesting. Thought I'd share it. So thanks for being here. That's it for me on this one. I know it's a short one, but it's also kind of a short story. Thanks again for being here. I will catch you guys on the next one. All right. Until then, bye for now. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell so you'll know when our next video is out.